AskReddit. What asshole fact do you know that will ruin the fun for everyone? Dogs love squeaky toys because it's from their wolf instinct of almost dead prey still whimpering. Every year on the anniversary of its arrival, the Mars rover sings happy birthday to itself, millions of miles from anyone. Scientists found a whale that sings at a frequency of 52 Hz, whereas the standard for most whales is around 15 to 25 Hz. This means that this whale cannot communicate with other whales, was found to travel alone, and is pretty much going to be alone forever because of something that they cannot control or change. Toddlers don't have kneecaps until they're around 3 to 5 years old. It doesn't really ruin the fun for everyone. I just like to see the look on the parents' faces when I tell them their toddler doesn't have kneecaps. Actually, the cartilage simply hasn't hardened yet. Then, I watch in sheer delight as they sprint over to their child and feel their toddler's non-existent kneecaps and wonder what's genetically wrong with them. You are born too late to explore the earth and too early to really explore space. The sound of the inmates yelling in the background of Johnny Cash's recording of Folsom Prison Blues Live at Folsom Prison was added in post-production. The inmates in the audience were silent the whole time because they were too scared of the guards. Edit. I googled around to double check, and it seems that I was misremembering about that last part. My bad. They weren't entirely silent, but the cheering after I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die was edited in. There is no cloud. It's just some stranger's computer, explained the cloud to people at work in a fairly simple way. They were like, what? It's just a bunch of hard drives? I thought it wasn't physical. How would it not be physical? Dolphins are violent rapists. In the movie XXX, the part where the main character slides down a line from a parachute to a boat, you are literally watching a man die. The stuntman who slid down that line did not make it under that bridge. He slammed into it at full speed. I learned this while watching the director's commentary on the DVD. They use the footage still because, according to the commentary, that's how dedicated we are to entertaining you. I can't remember the quote fully, but that was the gist. I'll never be that dedicated to being entertained that I'll accept someone dying for it. Stuntmen and women are fantastic athletes who do amazing stuff, but if something is not done right, they get hurt or worse. Mistakes are not acceptable in that business. The second they do become acceptable, stuntmen become disposable. I will not accept that. Edit. For those of you talking about Ben-Hur, the 1928 silent version did have actors die. The newer one did not. The search and rescue dogs on 9/11 were literally becoming depressed because they only found dead bodies. The handlers started taking turns burying themselves in the rubble so the dogs could actually rescue someone. They were trained such that they got praise and rewards when they found a living person. That's what their whole training was, find people. If in a real world scenario where there is hardly anyone to find, their training doesn't make sense anymore. They get confused and irritated because their task becomes impossible. If I gave you a gold star every time you completed a paper maze, then gave you a maze with no end, that just keeps looping back in itself, eventually you'd just say fuck this and go jerk off or whatever. Bread is actually unhealthy for ducks. So while feeding them bread, you're slowly killing them. I have some ducks that live in my yard, and I knew bread was bad for them, so I found a website that said to give them unsalted sardines. I tried that, and they looked at me like I was stupid. I never saw so much condescension in a duck's face. Spiders molt. When you see a dead spider, there's a good chance that it isn't actually a dead spider, it's just an exoskeleton. The spider is still alive, and it's bigger than before. I told a little girl that dogs live to be around 10 years old. She asked how long humans lived. I told her around 80. She did the math and a deep-set depression set in. Dr. Seuss' wife Helen died by suicide with an overdose of barbiturates after a series of illnesses, including cancer, spanning 13 years. Giesel was also despondent over her husband's burgeoning relationship with Audrey Stonedemond. Feeling unable to live without him, Helen Giesel wrote in her suicide note, "Dear Ted, what has happened to us? I don't know. I feel myself in a spiral, going down down down. into a black hole from which there is no escape, no brightness. And loud in my ears from every side I hear, failure, failure, failure. I love you so much. I'm too old and enmeshed in everything you do and are that I cannot conceive of life without you. My going will leave quite a rumor, but you can say I was overworked and overwrought. Your reputation with your friends and fans will not be harmed. Sometimes think of the fun we had all through the years. If you ever play Monopoly and are playing by the official rules, don't upgrade to hotels. There are a finite number of housing properties available. Get a group as soon as possible, fill it up with 4 houses as soon as possible, and let it sit. Continue to buy property, fill in with houses. Never upgrade them to hotels, and you will win the game, as the other players will have no source of income compared to you. A fun fact I learned from my friend the semi-truck driver. If a driver is ahead and sees a cop looking for speeders, they will often radio into a nearby truck. The trucks will slow down traffic until they pass the cop. I have noticed this a lot since being told, and can usually spot the cop that they are slowing things down for. You guys are the realest. Sea otters, cute as they may be, rape baby seals to death. Or more accurately, the baby seals drown while being raped because the otters hold them down. In the time it took you to read this post, someone died, someone was raped, and someone's car and or home was broken into. Fuck, I better check my car. Too late. It's been raped. Peter Pan was really an angel of death that held kids' hands on their way to heaven, Neverland. That's why all those kids never grew up. They were dead. Everyone makes fun of the lady who won millions of dollars because of the McDonald's caution hot coffee cup lawsuit. The temperature of the coffee was scalding on purpose to save money. In reality, she only sued for medical damages at first, but McDonald's offered practically nothing. She was later awarded $640K at the end of the trial, possibly a different amount altogether, since it was settled out of court afterwards. It makes me sad that people judge others when they don't know the real story. Worked in a liquor store. The same 25 or so people would come in every day and buy a pint of fifth of vodka. Every day. I would point out to them, it is much cheaper over the long run just to buy a gallon. They would mostly shrug and buy their pint or fifth. I realized later they were high functional alcoholics who, knowing they would drink every drop available, just bought what they could consume daily and remain semi-functional. When/if they moved up in bottle size, you could see the effects in their dress and speech. Many were professionals. Dennis Lee retoured with Bill Hicks, stole his material, and launched his career. Bill Hicks died of cancer. Dennis Lee's debut album was called No Cure for Cancer. There is no gender pay gap in the US, UK, or AUS. Only women who work less hours, can't negotiate higher salaries, and pick lower paying jobs. Runs away. Edit. This comment is mostly a joke. There is a discrepancy when it comes to total earnings over a lifetime, sure. I agree with that. I don't agree with the 77 cents to a dollar, though. For young people who are obsessed with the superior audio quality of records, unless the audio was originally recorded on vinyl, the quality of the recording will be identical to what you'd hear on a CD or your computer. In other words, you're wasting your money buying vinyl for albums that were originally recorded on digital. Your Foster the People record is a sham. Edit. Many people have pointed out that originally, records were recorded on analog tape, not vinyl. So I guess I should have said, unless the audio was originally recorded on analog. Forgive me for not knowing all of the terminology. Others have pointed out that the recording will not in fact be identical to a CD or digital recording. My point was more that the audio isn't necessarily better just because you're listening to the record. Some hot dogs, sausages, or any kind of processed meat for that matter is basically all the shit butchers throw out like ears, feet, organs, etc. This is one way to use every part of the animal. Source: my dad's a pig farmer. Pointing out laugh tracks. playing videos on it of your friends' fave sitcoms with it removed, and ask them if they think it is funny, or laugh if there is a real moment of funny, and then ask them why they didn't laugh.